Here are my Week 12 NFL picks against the spread. We actually did a 3.5-hour live stream talking in more depth about all of these picks and other stuff. So if you want to watch that, it's on our YouTube channel. But if you want an abbreviated version, here it is. Before I get into it, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit walterfootball.com for tons of football content. We have NFL picks against the spread, college football picks against the spread, NFL DraftKings plays. We have 2026 and 2027 NFL mock drafts, power rankings. We're great every signing, we're great every trade. It's all at walterfootball.com, and it's all free. All right, so let's get into it. We have Bills at Texans to kick off Week 12 on Thursday. I like the Texans a little bit here. Josh Allen struggled in Houston last year when he played, and he ended up losing the game. Now, Houston doesn't have C.J. Stroud this time, but Davis Mills has played well in relief. But for the Texans, I'm really looking at taking advantage of Buffalo's run defense, which has been awful. It'll get better when Matt Milano is healthy, but he's not healthy right now. And Woody Marks, who's been a lot better than Nick Chubb, should be able to take advantage of this matchup, keep this game close. I'd kind of be surprised if Buffalo wins in a blowout here, given how great Houston's defense is. So I think the Bills will win this game by like 3 points. So I like Houston to cover the 6. We go to the Sunday game, Steelers at the Bears. The Bears are favored by 2.5. It's a good indication for Pittsburgh that the line dropped from 3 to 2.5. Of course, you have Mike Tomlin as an underdog, which is always a great thing. He covers about 65% of the time when he's an underdog. So you have to like the Steelers from that perspective. Also, the Bears have some defensive issues. TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds, the two linebackers, they were both DNP on Wednesday. Their top safety was DNP, and they still have some question marks at cornerback. So lots of injuries here, and Aaron Rodgers did not practice on Wednesday, which actually I think is a good thing, given that Mason Rudolph was better than Rodgers. Rodgers has just been so decrepit, and he only wants to avoid getting hit and just releasing the ball quickly, whereas Mason Rudolph has, for some reason, he just plays better for Pittsburgh than other teams. So I think the Steelers take this game. I'm not super confident in it, though. But it's a decent lean here on Pittsburgh, but nothing more. Especially now that we don't get the 3. Obviously, 3 is the most likely result of any NFL game. Not getting the 3 and getting 2.5 doesn't seem great. But then again, consider that this line did move, so it's a bullish indicator on Pittsburgh. Jets at Ravens, Lions Ravens -3, 13.5. I initially thought I was going to be on Baltimore, and I still might be, but the injury report might say otherwise. So Baltimore has won 4 in a row because the team's gotten healthy, but they suddenly have some injuries here. For example, first of all, Lamar Jackson, he doesn't seem to be healthy, and he missed Wednesday's practice with an ankle. I assume he's going to play, but the fact that he's not running is definitely problematic. Now, the Ravens they're missing some other players on Wednesday. Marlon Humphrey is limited, but then looking at Kyle Hamilton was DNP. We had Ronnie Stanley was DNP, and Roquan Smith was DNP. So if all these guys don't play, it's going to be tough to back the Ravens as such a big favorite. I think I'd lean toward the Jets, but we'll see what happens with the rest of the injury report. I'll have another video posted on Saturday just for that, just for some updates to injuries and whatnot, and line movement, of course. Giants at the Lions. This Lions -10.5. It sounds like Jackson Dart's going to play. I like the Lions regardless. I like them more with Jameis Winston, because Winston's a turnover machine. He should have thrown like 3 or 4 interceptions last week. He just got lucky with the Packers dropping them. The Lions create more turnovers than the Packers, so I think they'd be able to take advantage of that. So definitely on the Lions with Jameis Winston. Now, Jackson Dart's less obvious because he's been so much better this year, but quarterbacks coming off their first concussion, coming out the first game after concussion, they tend to struggle, and not a surprise given that their brains get all scrambled. Jackson Dart was limited, so if he were full, I'd be a little bit a little bit more bearish on Detroit. But given that Dart hasn't been full yet in practice, he was limited Wednesday. I think that goes to show that he's not 100% yet. And so either way, I like Detroit off a loss too. Danny Campbell off a loss is just incredible. Patriots and Bengals. Andy and I, Andy was our co-host on Wednesday. We had a big disagreement on this game. I like the Patriots, assuming that Joe Burrow doesn't play. Now, Joe Burrow could probably play. He was full on in practice on Wednesday. I don't know if that means he's going to be able to go, but it's interesting that he was full and Joe Flacco was limited. Flacco, of course, has the shoulder injury, so when I thought Flacco was going to start in this game, I thought this is okay. I was like, great setup here for the Patriots, who get to go against an injured quarterback in Joe Flacco, who's awful last week, without Jamar Chase, and also the defense without Trey Hendrickson. So I thought Patriots easy. Like, this line should have been at least 10. I don't know why it was only 8. Now it's 7 because Burrow may play. And if Burrow does, all bets are off, I think, because Burrow could just dominate and have a great game. And I think that would be close. Even without Jamar Chase, Burrow would be able to get within the number with the backdoor covers. So, if it's Burrow, I might be on the Bengals, although we don't know what the line would be. But if it's Flacco, definitely the Patriots. Seahawks and Titans. Seahawks are minus 13.5. I don't think this is high enough. I made this line 14.5 above the key number of 14. Actually, the fourth most likely result of any NFL game is 14. So getting under 14 is important here. Seattle, coming off a loss, I think will be focused, and that means we have the marriage of spot versus matchup. And the matchup's obvious. Tennessee's dreadful in every regard. They can't protect the quarterback, and Cam Ward holds on to the ball too long. Seattle has the number 2 pressure rate in the NFL, so that just means Cam Ward is going to take sack after sack. It's going to be ugly. And Seattle's offense against Tennessee's defense, which may not have Jeffrey Simmons again. He was DNP in practice on Wednesday. I don't know if that was by design, but still, Tennessee can't stop anyone regardless. So Seattle should be able to have a great game here, win in a blowout. Should be a nice win for Seattle. Minnesota at the Packers. Packers minus 6.5. JJ McCarthy is so bad, and it's so hard to back him. But it's crazy. I still like Minnesota. Minnesota, I think, is the better team. If you go like position by position, and Andy pointed this out, except for quarterback, Minnesota is generally better in most places. Now, quarterback is a big deal, and McCarthy is one of the worst starters in the NFL. However, Jordan Love has struggled against Brian Flores. In 2 games last year, Love lost both games. The stats look pretty in one of them. The first one, he threw 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, but all the touchdowns were in garbage time. I believe the Packers are trailing like 28-0, and then Love just picked up a bunch of garbage time touchdowns. In the second game he played, Love was just throwing off his back foot constantly. Did not look comfortable in the pocket at all. It just seems like Brian Flores is getting to him. So, I like the Vikings here, but I'm not super excited about betting McCarthy, so probably going to lay off this one. Colts at the Chiefs. There's so many people I've heard, just from random shows I listen to, say, "Oh, I can't believe the Chiefs are underdogs. Like, the Colts are 8-2, Chiefs are 5-5. How could the Colts be underdogs?" Well, people are saying the same thing in that Lions game against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs beat the Lions. I think this looks like a get right game for the Chiefs. For some reason, Patrick Mahomes hasn't been running. He was running a lot when the Chiefs went 5-1 in their 6 games after the 0-2 start, and for some reason he just stopped. Like, he ran once against Buffalo, ran once against Denver. So like, it seems like an easy fix. Like, just start running Mahomes. I feel like the Chiefs, coming off 2 losses in a row, just feels like a great spot for them. So I'm not like crazy about this one, but I do think the Chiefs are the right side. Getting to the 4:00 games, Jaguars at the Cardinals. Jaguars are -3. The one concern I have here for Arizona, and I like Arizona, the one concern is that they have a lot of injuries right now on the injury report, a lot of DMPs on Wednesday, but those DMPs could flip to limited or full the rest of the week, and then they'll be questionable, and then maybe they'll play. So the injury report is definitely something to watch out for, but I think most people would say the Jaguars are better than the Cardinals, and that's what this line says. But I don't think that's the case. The Jaguars are 6-4, but they're 21st in offense, 21st in defense, according to EPA. Arizona's 20th in offense, so a little bit better, and then 12th in EPA in defense, so a lot better. So I like Arizona's defense here, assuming that they're healthy against Jacksonville should be able to keep this game low scoring, at least for Jacksonville's sake. And then Jacksonville's defense, a subpar. Jacoby Brissett set the all-time single game completions record last week, which is crazy. He's not going to get that obviously again, but Brissett has done a great job getting the ball to Trey McBride. Michael Wilson had a nice game last week. Feels like Arizona should be able to score in Jacksonville and keep this close and potentially win outright. I like Arizona here. Browns at the Raiders. Raiders are -4. I don't know. Do you take Shedeur Sanders or do you take a horrible Raider team that can't block against Myles Garrett on a short week as a favorite, no less? I don't know. Good luck if you're betting this one. If I had to pick, I think I would take. Oh man, I think I'd take the Browns. As ugly as it is, look, the best unit on the field is Cleveland's defense, and it's not even close. There could be a record-setting number of sacks in this game. It could get ugly. So I would not bet this game. So good luck if you do. Falcons at the Saints. Saints are -1.5, which I think could throw people off. But Atlanta is going to be playing Kirk Cousins, who looks decrepit, without Drake London, and Darnell Mooney can't catch anything behind an offensive line that has some issues. So the Falcons were down 2 linemen. They've been down 2 linemen the past 2 games. And really, they could have been down their 3rd lineman, Chris Lindstrom, an all-pro guard. He was DMP limited last week, and he played. He went through it, and he's DMP again on Wednesday. He's just not healthy. So Atlanta can't block, and they're not going to be able to throw with Kirk Cousins, and no one's going to be able to catch. So this looks like a good Saints spot to me. The Saints should be able to take advantage of Atlanta's bad run defense with Alvin Kamara. Chris Olave should have a solid game as well. Tyler Shuck looked good in his previous start. He won 17-7 against the Panthers, and feels like this is a pretty favorable matchup for him. Eagles to the Cowboys. I like the Cowboys at +3.5. There's no Lane Johnson, and if you look at the splits with and without Lane Johnson, doesn't matter who the quarterback is, whether it's Jalen Hurts or Carson Wentz or Nick Foles. They all do worse without Lane Johnson. He's just that impactful. Dallas's defense is better with Quinn Williams and Logan Wilson. So, Dallas should be able to hang around here. And really, Dallas has kind of been a house of horrors for the Eagles. They seem to always lose in Dallas when Dak Prescott is starting. Now, the Eagles won in Dallas last year, but that was Cooper Rush. Dallas is going to be a lot better in this game, especially with the two new defenders. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Dallas pulled the upset. I think the Eagles win by 3, and so Dallas covers the 3.5. Tampa at the Rams. This line is Rams -6.5. Something to watch out for in the injury report is that the Buccaneers have a ton of absences on the injury report because of illness. Now, whenever you see 1 or 2 illnesses, it's not a big deal. But when you start to see 3 or more, and in this case 6, that sounds like the flu. And, I don't want to back a team with the flu. In fact, you should probably fade that team. It doesn't always work, but, if a bunch of Tampa Bay players are sick, you don't want to side with them. Also, the Rams, they are the best team in the NFL, or at least they look like it, maybe 2nd or 3rd best. So Tampa Bay, they always struggle when playing up to competition. They get blown up by the Eagles this year until garbage time. They lose by 15 to the Lions. They lose to the Patriots at home, and despite the Bills making a lot of mistakes, the Bills beat them by 12. Even last year, the Ravens went into Tampa and dismantled the Buccaneers. So the Rams are definitely a step up in competition. So I would expect Tampa to struggle again. The only worry I have here for the Rams is that they're coming off a big win, so they could be a little unfocused. So I'm not looking to bet this one aggressively unless those illnesses persist and it's clear that Tampa has the flu. Finally, we have the Panthers at the Niners. Niners are -7. I like San Francisco in this game. We have a bad team coming off a win, which is generally a fade spot. Bryce Young is not going to play as well again. He's just not. I mean, we're not too far removed from him scoring only 7 points against the Saints. The Niners do have defensive injuries, but I think their offense, the Niners offense against Carolina's defense, seems just like such a mismatch. Kyle Shanahan's going to have the perfect game plan prepared for bad defense here. And also circadian rhythms comes into play whenever you have a West Coast team hosting an East Coast team as a favorite. And this also applies in Rams Bucks. The West Coast host. They tend to do very well. Just too late of a game for these East Coast teams. It's like almost they're almost bedtime for some of these guys. So I mean, in the second half, of course. Yeah, I like the Niners here. So yeah, those are the WalterFootball.com Week 12 NFL picks against the spread. Yeah, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit WalterFootball.com for tons of content, and we'll be back later in the week with an updated picks video talking about injuries and line moves and such. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later.